Before you can invest, pay off debt, buy the house, or plan the trip, you need one number. This is the episode everything else builds on. Do you actually know what it costs to be you every single month? Let's dive in and find out.
Sugar Daddy Podcast, yo. Learn how to make them pockets grow. Financial freedom's where we go. Smart investments, money flow.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Sugar Daddy Podcast, where we help you build a clear financial plan so you can feel confident and in control of your money. If you're an OG, welcome back. And if you're new here, we are so glad you joined. We hope you'll stick around. We release new episodes every Wednesday. Hey, babe, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about, I think, one of the hardest parts of financial planning and the most overlooked, and that is cash flow and budgeting. How much does it actually cost to be you on a monthly basis?
The real me or the real me that I want to be?
The real you. That's what we're always focused on. We're not focused on what you want to be currently. You need to know what the real Jessica is spending each month.
Still too much. Okay, so cash flow and budgeting. I feel like, this makes sense because you can't do the things if you don't know what you have.
But you'd be surprised the number of people that tried to build a plan without even, this is the first step of the plan.
Okay.
This is the very first step. You need to understand how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, and where is it going. And the idea there is that you want to have a surplus. The idea is that you're spending less than you have coming in.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised the number of people, this is not where they start. They have no idea. They have a vibe, a feeling, but it's like
Love
we could
vibes.
actually know the specific numbers.
You get a paycheck and a pay stub every other week, probably, in most cases. Yeah. I'm always so surprised. There's a couple of podcasts that we listen to, and one of the main questions that always comes up is like, did you know that you make this much? And people are always like, no, I had no idea. Or they're off by thousands of dollars. Like some episodes, it's like, oh, you make $180,000 combined. Did you know that? And they're like, no, we had no idea.
And it's like, how do you not know? It's
How do you not know? How do you not? Do you not go to work to know how much you're getting paid?
But that is honestly the norm. Even when it comes to how much you spend in a month. Now, obviously there's going to be some fluctuation there, but you should be within a few $100s of what that is. And I bet you majority of people out there are not going to be because they don't know, because you can't know something that you're not tracking.
That's true. I am very surprised at the conversations that I have where, you might be asking like, well, what do you pay for health insurance? And people don't know. Like, if I have money being taken out of my check, I'm going to know exactly how much it is.
And the thing is here is that what we're really looking for is this one number. Know your one number.
One number.
And that's how much your expenses are for a given month. Because that's going to drive every other decision that comes after that.
Well, and there's so many, right? You have the basics, right? Your housing, likely your vehicle, then all of your utilities. Then you've got to think about your subscriptions that you're paying for, your gym membership, your Netflix, all of that stuff, maybe daycare, and then sports or activities for your kids. You've got your food. And then there's the things on top of that. It might be the unexpected stuff, but then it's also, oh, we got to buy the birthday party present. Oh, we got invited to a random dinner we maybe weren't accounting for. Or, maybe a bill, like one of our bills, keeps coming back really high, and now we're investigating why is it so high. But again, we know it's high because we track these things.
Yeah.
So if you don't track and have a sense of like what everything should cost, you're really just living life blindly.
Because the thing is that budgeting has a negative connotation to it. People think it as limiting what they're able to do with their life. Like it's like, almost think of it like a diet, that's like you said, the restriction. Do I have the willpower to stick with it? If I slip up and I make a mistake, now there's guilt behind it.
Yep.
And that's the reason why people, don't put one in place, or even if they do put one in place, they don't stick with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think, there's so much content now online that is trying to help people reshape that budgets aren't restrictive. It's literally just a plan for every dollar. Like every dollar has a job.
Yeah.
What is that job of that dollar? And sometimes the job is to pay a bill or to invest or to save. And then other times it's to spend. And some people who have budgeted really, really well their whole life now have a hard time actually spending money. So putting a bucket in place that's like, no, this is fun money. Like, go do something fun with this, I think is also really important.
Most people don't have the tools to put a proper budget in place, which is why most people's budgets fail.
Yeah,
And like
that's
honestly,
fair.
if your budget failed, if you've done multiple budgets and they always fail, congratulations. You're normal. Like
You're
you're
normal.
not the exception. Like that's the majority of people because no one has showed them the proper structure to
Hmm.
make it one work for them and also make it easier overall in your life.
Yeah. So where do we get started on actually knowing your number?
Well, first and foremost, you have to get the numbers.
Okay, that makes sense.
So for us, the easiest way to get the numbers is Monarch Money, to be honest with you. I know
We love Monarch.
you might be tired of hearing us say that, but one of the things that I want to make sure people understand is like, I want to help you make your life easier. So if there is technology out there that you can utilize to make your life easier rather than having to pull these numbers manually and skim through them, why not use it? Because one of the things that we always talk about with Monarch Money is that you can connect all your various accounts. So in this scenario, you can connect your bank account, you can connect your credit cards. And by connecting those, you're going to have your purchase history. And
Mhm.
it's not going to just pull the purchase history from this month, last month, or the month before that. It can pull up to, like a year's worth of purchase history so that you can actually see the patterns over the months of what you've been spending. And that's where you're going to need to start because that's going to also help once you're connecting all those accounts. It's going to give you a number as far as what is your actual amount of money that you're bringing in based off the paychecks that you have coming in. And this is going to be the after tax, which is, actually more beneficial for a lot of people. What is the amount of money that's actually hitting your bank account? And then how much are you actually spending and what are you spending it on?
Yeah, what are those categories? Because without tracking it, I guarantee you are spending more in categories that you are not even aware of. And you use it with your clients. So
All the time.
when you're setting things up with your clients, do they have that aha moment of like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was spending X on this?"
Oh, yeah. It's called the perception gap. It's what you believe that you're actually spending
Mhm.
on various expenses compared to when you actually look at the black and white numbers, what you are spending.
Yeah,
And I would say one of the number one categories for people is eating out.
food.
A lot of people don't realize how much they are spending on eating out. And I'm not talking about just groceries, which can also be a surprise for people, but the fact that you're eating out because you might not be somebody who eats at these big fancy restaurants. You eat at just
A
regular
little Chipotle
restaurants.
here, a little
Yeah, so
Cava
it might be,
there.
$15 here, $20 there.
Yeah.
But if you're consistently doing that on a regular basis each week, it adds up
Mhm.
quickly. I've had people where like a single individual where like we look at how much they're spending on eating out and they're spending over $1,500 a month on eating out. And they had,
As a single person,
yeah, and they had no idea.
what did they think they were spending on eating out?
Under 1,000.
So that's a big more than 50%
Yeah. Well, not
difference.
more than 50%. That's a 1,500 and under 1,000.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but that's still a big gap.
No, it's
Like,
a big gap.
yeah. Well, and it's not. I mean, when I remember when I first got my debit card and you had like your, ledger and you wrote down, okay, I spent $4.35 at Walmart and, because it was your debit card and you were keeping track, but now it's all the bills, it's all
Yeah.
the things, it's all the sports, registrations and school fees and it just adds up so quickly.
Yeah. And the thing is with your spending, it kind of basically boils down into like three buckets. You have your fixed bucket first. So
Okay.
those are going to be the bills that you pay that are going to be approximately the same amount each month. So it's going to be like, your rent, your car payment, student loan payments, your phone, subscriptions to streaming services, all those things that are going to, yes.
Utilities,
Well,
yeah.
utilities, no,
Well,
because utilities can fluctuate.
okay, but it's still a fixed cost.
It's not a fixed.
No?
No, it's a variable. Fixed
Because
means
okay.
no, fixed means
It
that
doesn't change
it
at
does
all.
not change. So you
Okay.
know exactly how much you're going to pay each
Okay.
month.
Okay.
So the first bucket is the fixed.
Got it.
Now the next bucket is variable.
Okay.
And that's where your utilities would go.
And you want to find the averages,
Correct.
right?
And
So
have
you
your-
pay more for your AC in the summer than you do
Yeah.
maybe for your heat in the
they
winter.
could slightly,
something
they
like that.
change. So like that's going to be like like I said, your utilities, your groceries,
Yeah. Okay.
eating out, stuff
Okay.
of that nature. Things that,
Very.
vary.
Okay.
And then the last bucket is going to be actually the one that a lot of people overlook is the periodic bucket.
Hmm.
That's going to be the one that sneaks up on a lot of people because those aren't the ones that are just like, I'm doing this every single month. It might be once a year, twice a year. Or it's also those things where, like, during the holiday season,
There's an
Christmas, I'm
uptick.
buying gifts now. That's just for the month of December. So it's going to be those things like that. And honestly, a lot of people, like, they want to tell you, like, oh, it's the, $5, $8 coffee that you're buying each day. That's what's breaking your budget. No, it's normally the periodic bucket, because a lot of people aren't thinking about that when they're putting a budget in place. And then they're not properly prepared and they haven't been saving money. So, for example, you weren't thinking about, having to buy a bunch of gifts during Christmas. You weren't saving up during the course of the year. And now December hits you and you're like, oh man.
Or the new tires that you need for your
Exactly.
car. You know that you can't ride on these tires forever,
Yeah.
but you were not budgeting and planning for those tires that are going to come due in a year or two.
And then the last part is like one of the things that, as far as where your money is going, like we have those buckets, but then also if you're in a relationship, are you and your partner working on the same budget? Because you might be working on one budget, I might be working on a different budget, and they're not the same budget. And that's
Right.
going to cause an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like, how is that money being spent?
Yes.
Okay. So how do we do this the right way so that hopefully we don't try to create a new budget and then not stick with it for the 20th time?
Like I said, the easiest way is to go ahead and get Monarch Money.
You can use our code.
Use the
It'll
code
be in
for
the show
50%
notes.
off for the year, and that's going to roughly have you paying about $50 for the year.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to be the easiest way, because you got to first plainly get the numbers. How much are you, what is your rent? What is your mortgage? How much are you spending on gas? How much are you spending on groceries? All that information. How much money do you have coming in each month that's hitting your bank account from working? Because
Hmm.
what Monarch is going to do, it's going to give you a very nice high level overview. You're going to see a green number, and that's going to be how much money you have coming in. That's what you're paid. You're going to see a red number, and it's going to say those will be your expenses, how much money you have going out. And then it's going to give you a plus or minus on whether or not, you're spending more than you have coming in, or you're spending less than you have coming in. And
Hmm.
as we said before, the idea is that if you want to build wealth, you're going to have to spend less than what you have coming in.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So high level is going to show you that. Now let's see. And for example, if you put the information in and you are currently spending more than you have coming in, more than likely you have some credit card debt and stuff of that nature, because that's how you're funding that deficit.
Hmm.
Now, what you're going to do next, you're going to want to have to look at what's going on with these numbers. Where am I actually spending my money? And that's where the deeper next step comes in, the deeper dive, because you have that high level overview to
Hmm.
let you know that you're spending more than you have coming in. Now, where's it going?
Yeah.
Monarch uses AI to categorize your spending. So you can look at the different categories of where your money's going. So, you have a category for groceries, category for
Entertainment.
entertainment. And you can also customize those if you want to go in to, make them more aligned with how you would like to view your different expenses. But the overall thing I want you to understand is that next step is that diving in and figuring out, where am I spending money? So if you look at eating out and you see like, hey, I'm spending a lot of money on eating out. If I cut back here, this is going to allow me to have more money to put over here, whether that's to put more money towards paying down debt or put more money towards investing. But
Hmm.
the idea is that you're going to have to do that work in order to get that information.
You need the visibility because you can't manage what you're not measuring.
Yeah. And like I said, the nice thing is that it's going to show you on a monthly basis how much you're spending. So it's going to give you that one single number, that number that you need to know. How much are you spending in a given month?
Hmm.
That number dictates so many other things, because for example, when it comes to, an emergency fund, your emergency fund is based off of your expenses. So you can't have a properly funded emergency fund if you don't know how much you're spending on a monthly basis.
It all comes back to this one number.
So if your monthly expenses are, $5,000 and you want a 6-month emergency fund, now you need $30,000. But if you want a 6-month emergency fund and you have no idea how much you're spending on a monthly basis, how are you going to start that?
Yeah.
Everything starts with understanding your numbers.
I love it. I love it. And it'll also give you an opportunity. Let's say you are spending more on food than you thought, and that's a very common category. Then you could potentially put things in place, like maybe you do a meal delivery service. Maybe you do I don't know, the Whole Foods viral family hack and do some
Yes.
meal prepping that way. Brandon did that last week.
I mean, I literally had a client. And it's also like, I like to get to know my clients outside of just obviously the black and white numbers. I want to know more about their lives and the goals that they don't think necessarily have a monetary tie to them that you're looking to do. So I have a client that, when we looked through her numbers, she was spending significantly more than she thought she was eating out. And it was not because she was eating out with friends as an enjoyment. It was a convenience factor. She's a single
Mm,
individual, and it just made life easier from a convenience factor. Now, I also knew that she was looking to improve her health and be on a health journey. I was like, let's save the eating out maybe for those occasions with friends that you've
yeah,
talked
so that
about
it's actually
so
special.
it's enjoyable. But
Yeah.
you've also talked about wanting to improve your health. So maybe let's look at still having the convenience of not having to cook, but look into these meal plans
Mhm.
that they can send you already pre-made meals and you just warm them up. So one, it's going to be less than eating out on a regular basis like you were currently doing,
Yep.
and it's also going to help you in your health journey to improve your health.
Yes. And it's again, hey, instead of going to the grocery store, walking down the aisles, picking up things that weren't on the list, you select what you're going to be getting every week and you have a fixed cost associated. Because I know when you were doing like Factor
I knew exactly
and
how
Cook
much I was spending.
Unity and I was doing Hungry Root, same thing. Like it really significantly cut down on, oh, let me just grab a couple of these things because they're BOGO, or let me, get some back stock in the pantry. Like even having that kind of thought around it is beneficial because you know what you're going to be spending.
Yeah. And once again, back here, like it's knowing that number builds on everything else. So we've already talked about the
Mhm.
emergency fund, but then also when it comes to debt payoff, knowing how much you're spending and how much you're coming in and whether or not you have a surplus is going to allow you to put extra money towards paying down debt quicker. So
Yes.
that's going to help out with that. Also, if you're looking to achieve financial independence,
Mhm.
one of the numbers you kind of roughly hear of is you're going to need maybe 25 times your income. Do you know how much you're coming in on a monthly basis? Is that number going to cover what you need in retirement? No longer bringing in any money. So
Mhm.
therefore, now once again, that number is going to help you out in regards to so many other different goals that you're trying to reach. I mean, a lot of things are based off of that, all that information, as far as like, purchasing a house,
Mhm.
some of the trips that maybe you want to take. Do you have money to put away for vacations? For the guys out there, your income, I mean, it's going to come into play also possibly buying a ring if you're looking to propose. All that information is based off of knowing your numbers
Yeah. All
if
right.
you're doing it responsibly.
So we're going to get Monarch Money. We're going to use our 50% off code and we're going to get all that visibility in a beautiful, easy to use app. Then what are we going to do once we have those numbers?
So, some of the things we want to do is change the way that you look at budgeting overall.
Okay.
So, most of the time when people are thinking about budgeting, all they're thinking about is, I have restrictions in regards to what I can spend my money on here.
All the things I can't do.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, we want to flip this. So, first, pay yourself first.
Always. Rich people pay themselves first, people.
And I can't say this enough. Like you hear it, I hear it all the time on social media. It's true. This is one of the things on social media that I 100% agree with. Pay
That
yourself
doesn't
first.
happen often, folks.
Pay
Pay
yourself
yourself
first
first.
because you want to go ahead and put money into your savings and investing. That's how it's going to start to build upon itself and use compound interest.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to really preface here is that pay yourself something.
Even if it's
Anything.
$5 your paycheck, and then whatever you're contributing to your 401k to hopefully get your match or 403b or whatever the retirement account looks like for wherever you're working. Get that match and then pay yourself, because one thing that you always say is build the habit,
Yes.
right? Build the habit of putting money aside.
Also, too, if you're someone that's younger, say you're in your 20s and you're listening to this podcast, you have
You're
time
already
on
ahead of
your
the game.
side, and compound interest is your strongest and best weapon. Because if I could go back to, early, mid 20-year-old Brandon, I would 100% say, put more money away, put something
We
away,
could have been
because
retired by
that
now.
compound interest, it's amazing.
Yes. So pay yourself first in your investments and in your savings, because if you save it for the very end of the month, guess what? You're going to look up and you're going to be like, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you will have spent it. So put it aside, and better yet, automate, automate,
Yes.
automate. Get it out of your paycheck before you even see it hit your bank account. So if there's a way for you to take that $5 or $10 or $100, whatever you can do, and route it into your high yield savings account instead of it hitting your bank account, do that.
Yeah.
And make sure you're doing the same for your investments.
Because the thing is here is that once you know your numbers and you can actually look at, hey, how much can I actually, pay myself? That now becomes a fixed.
Ooh, look
It
at
now
that.
becomes a
Came full
fixed
circle.
part of the fixed bucket. So you can automate that, because we want
Yeah.
to automate the fixed stuff. That's going to make your life significantly easier, especially when it comes, like you just said, to paying yourself. A big part of financial planning is making your life easier. So if there's anything that you can do to, take away the ability to have to do something manually,
Oh,
I'm a big proponent of that.
who has time for anything manual?
Yeah. So
Not me.
when it comes to automate all the fixed expenses that you can.
Yes.
including paying yourself.
Yeah. Then we also want to plan for the unknown expenses or the
Yes.
expenses that you know are coming, even though they might be very varied.
Yes.
So think about Christmas, think about those birthday parties. If you've got a high schooler, thinking about senior photos, prom, all of those things. I've seen a lot of posts recently where it's like, once your kid hits ninth grade, put $20 a week aside because by the time they hit senior year, and all those flyers keep coming home about senior pictures and class rings and prom and this, you will thank yourself. So again, you can plan because you know the money's going to be needed somewhere. So just go ahead and start putting it aside. If you've got a pet like we do, Remy, he's laying right here. We love you, but he's expensive. So that unexpected ear infection, that unexpected whatever, put the money aside, right?
Yeah. The idea here is that the periodic bucket is the expenses that normally cause the biggest issues
Mhm.
because you didn't plan for them. So the idea here is that you're planning for them so that when they do arise, you have money to handle them and that doesn't cause you to go into debt. Because if you don't have the money and it is an emergency and something that needs to be taken care of, if you have a credit card, that's normally where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And then now you've gotten yourself into debt and you're paying high interest to pay off this debt. So the better plan is if you can, start putting money away for these things.
Yeah. And we really like Ally for that. We'll link Ally as well, high yield savings account, because if it's money that you're not using, it should be in savings and you should be getting something for it. Ally is really great because it has buckets that you can use. And that way you're not just putting all your savings
Yes.
into one bucket where you're like, wait, what is this for? You can have a bucket that says tires. You can have a bucket that says birthday parties, summer
Yes.
camp, prom, whatever it is, right? I even have a friend who I said, you should put your new boobs bucket on there, because she wants a breast lift. Like, great, let's put a bucket together.
That is one thing that I encourage everyone to do because you would think that it's just this minor thing,
No, it
but
matters.
being able to take a large sum of money and
Hmm.
then break it down and see what buckets there are and the specific amounts you have in each bucket and for those purposes, you'd be surprised at how much that is such a mind switch that is so helpful.
It's just really nice because it then gives you the permission that I
Yes.
think people are missing to use that money. Like you saved that $2,000 for the tires. So now when it's time and you get that bill and it's like, oh man, you go back to your buckets and you're like, oh, I've got this and I've got it set aside for tires. So you're not then messing with something else. You're not messing with the vacation fund. You're not messing with the Christmas present fund. You're not messing with the summer camp fund. You got your tire fund. It's right there. You're going to take that money out. Maybe you have something left. Maybe you had a coupon. Great. And now you build it back up again because you know you have another 4 years on those new tires.
Yeah. And the last part is like, honestly, keep it boring. What ends up happening with some people is that they're trying to track too many moving
You do not
factors.
need a 34-page spreadsheet.
Yeah. Now, unless you're one of those analytical people and that's your jam,
Hmm.
I don't want to yuck your yum. That's not what I'm looking to do. But if you enjoy it, if you love it,
If you like it, we love it.
there we go. That's I messed up the saying. But the
Don't
idea here,
overcomplicate
yeah,
it.
the idea here is that you only really need to track like those 3 or 4 moving parts. You can use that 3 bucket method as far as looking at the fixed, variable, periodic, and
I like it.
and really kind of look at it from a high level. You really only need to go granular initially,
Hmm.
and then if you're having any issues where you are starting to spend more than you're bringing in, then you need to do the deep dive again. But once you get things set up in place and you have your numbers and your work, you have your goals in place of where you want your money to go, you can kind of just look at those high level buckets.
Yeah, I like the 3 bucket method. I think it makes perfect sense. And then adding in that layer of like a Monarch Money or some sort of tool that helps you aggregate and
Yeah.
pulls everything together for
And
you.
Monarch allows you to do a fixed versus variable
Hmm.
type style to look at your finances from a high level overview.
Yeah. I also like that it'll flag like, oh, you have an uncategorized expense, right? If
Yes.
it can't tell what it is, it's not just going to put it in a slot for you. It'll say like, hey, you need to actually come in and like tell me where this needs to go, which I think
Yeah.
is
And
is great.
I want to make a call out too, because one of the things that I do is when I'm working with clients and I set up their Monarch, I do the setting up for them. Now, it can take some time to set it up correctly. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess it up. And I want to be very straightforward with that because what I've seen happen is that Monarch uses AI. So, for example, if you have the category of groceries and you wanted to change groceries to tires for some reason,
Mm,
You're now messing up their AI, and it's going to start keep pulling in. You're fighting against the AI. So if you have groceries, you need to change it to if you're going to change that category, I highly recommend not changing any of the automatic categories.
oh,
Or if you're going to change them, change it to something very similar. So for example, one category that's automatic is childcare. If you want to change it to daycare, same idea. No, for some
yeah.
people, I've met people that want to change the name and do that.
From
But you
childcare
need to
to
change it to
daycare?
something that is very much the same category.
Okay, that makes
Don't
sense.
try to change
Like nanny.
like don't
Okay,
take the rent category and try to make it eating
got it.
out.
Okay, that's a good call out.
You'd be surprised the number of people that start messing with it and doing that.
Okay,
So do not do that because it will cause a headache in your Monarch. But like I said, I take the time with my clients to do it for them and it saves them time.
there you go. So again, if you want a turnkey service to help manage your money, obviously that's what Brandon is here for. And has spent a lot of time doing Monarch courses and things as
Yes.
well to get it right. Because again, this is the foundation. This is the scaffolding that you need to take care of everything else. It's going to give you that visibility into what you can invest, what you can save, where you can spend, how much money you do have. So this is really the most important part of everything you do in your finances is understanding your cash flow. What is the money coming in? What is the money going out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other call outs?
Honestly, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a good groundwork start for really understanding the cash flow and budgeting aspect, how important it is, some tips and tools that you can utilize to do this on your own
Yeah.
and really set you up in the right place. 'Cause like I said, this is the beginning of planning. So if you're trying to do anything else from a financial standpoint, planning, if you don't know this number, everything else is going to fail. I'm telling you, because you haven't started at the beginning. It's like trying to build a house without building the foundation. Or no,
Right.
sorry. That was incorrect.
Without buying the lot,
No,
without
it's
knowing.
like building a house without actually having any plans
Yeah.
drawn up by an architect on how to build the house.
Right.
You're
Okay.
just randomly doing stuff.
Yeah, which we don't want. And I think too, just reframing, if you are a person that has historically thought that budgeting is restrictive, changing your mindset into budgeting is giving every dollar you earn a job really does help.
Yeah, and the idea is that the budget is going to allow you to live the life you want to live.
Yes.
So if you look at your numbers and you know your numbers, you're like, hey, I want to take this vacation. I know my numbers. I can afford this.
Yeah.
I can take this vacation.
Well, and we have friends that joined us in St. Lucia last year who, I mean, you actually
The
are,
clients, we're
they're
friends, but then
and
also
clients.
clients.
And we said, hey, we're going to St. Lucia. Do you want to come? And guess what? They had a vacation bucket
Because we had built a
with
vacation bucket into their
money.
planning because that was one of their values. They valued being able to travel.
Yes. And so they actually ended up coming. And throughout the trip, they were like, well, our financial advisor reminded us that, so it was funny. But again, giving your money a job instead of feeling restricted, it will allow you to do the things that you want to do, whether it's, go on the trips or, take your kids somewhere, or take your grandkids or do the house renovation, whatever it is that's important to you. Putting that money aside and giving it a job of this is the vacation bucket, this is the concert bucket, this is the fun bucket will make everything better and it will help you enjoy it when that time comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully this has helped you. Remember, you have your fixed bucket, your variable bucket, and your periodic bucket. Figure out what those are. Use our code in the show notes for Monarch and get set up so that you understand that number. We will talk to you next week. Share this episode with a friend and we'll talk soon. Don't forget, Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. You just got paid. Until next time.
Sugar Daddy Podcast, yo. Learn how to make them pockets grow. Financial freedom's where we go. Smart investments, money flow.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We are so glad to have you as part of our Sugar Daddy community. If you learned something today, please remember to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with your friends, family, and extended network. Don't forget to connect with us on social media at the Sugar Daddy Podcast. You can also email us your questions you want us to answer for our Pass the Sugar segments at thesugardaddypodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail through our Instagram.
Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based upon your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a licensed professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information you find in our podcast and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise.